Happy Monday, everybody. Today I'm going to do a video that I promised I'd do in one of the other videos, as you've seen the light just turn on right there. It's the Zev Custom Glock 19, or it's actually a Mutt Zev Custom, because the only thing Zev Custom on it is the slide. Everything else is, I'll go over in a minute. So I want to give an update. Buddy's hind leg started hurting him. Some people care about my dog. He went to eat the other day, and when he got done eating, he was hobbling. I took him to the vet today, and the vet thinks that he might have dislocated his kneecap. He says those Shih Tzus get a little older, that sometimes they can their kneecap will become dislocated and it can pop back in. And he thinks that's exactly what happened. He thinks while he was eating, he's bent over or something, his kneecap popped out. And he thinks it popped back in. He's feeling a lot better. He gave him some pain meds and stuff like that. And Buddy's feeling better. He's resting. So actually I say that he just walked in behind me, so I guess he's not resting. But he was resting and he's feeling better. So he'll stay on meds for a little while, and hopefully that his knee doesn't pop out anymore. But back to the gun. So this is my Zev Custom Glock 19 Mutt. So what this gun consists of is a Zev Custom slide, which I really like this slide. It has a Mariglow night sights, or suppressor height night sights. It has a Trijicon RMR 07. And under the 07, if you can see this little plate, I forget who makes this little plate, but sometimes the batteries in the original RMRs, they actually have an RMR 02 out now. Sometimes the batteries would come a little loose and cause it to flicker. This plate actually has a little raised spot under the battery, which keeps it up in it and allows the battery to stay in place better so it does not flicker. I've not had any flicker issues with mine. I don't know if it's attributed to that plate being on it, or if mine was just got lucky and mine was a good one. I don't know, but I've not had any issues with mine. I also have an S3F Solutions barrel in it. I really like this barrel. It's very accurate. I have an Agency Arms trigger, as you can see the A right there. In my opinion, this is one of the best triggers you can get for a Glock. I have several Glock triggers. I have some from Apex, and I also have some from SSVI. And to me, the Agency is actually the best one I've had so far. Your opinion might be different, but for my opinion, this is what I choose. This is a stock Glock frame. I actually did all the stipple work myself. I've had better stipple jobs, but I wanted to make this one work for what I wanted the gun to do, which was self-defense. So I actually molded this to fit my hand perfectly. I can get a very, very high grip, as you can see right there, because of this double undercut. This undercut is smooth right here. This one is actually textured. This allows you to get a higher grip, and when you roll your hand in for that support hand, it really locks it in with that stippling, doesn't allow it to move. Also on this side, I did a cut here for the mag well, or mag release, not mag well, sorry. Mag release. I also have a Larry Vickers extended mag release in here. I did have a Zev mag release on this, but it was actually too big, and sometimes you could bump it and it would drop the magazine out. While we're thinking about that, I will show you this firearm is unloaded. So that's kind of an overview of what I've done. I do have a Streamlight TLR1 HL. This is the first version of the TLR1 HL, so I think it's like 600 or 650 lumens. I can't remember. I've had this light for a few years, but I'm thinking it's like 600 lumens. The new one has like 800 lumens, I do believe. This gun is a very good shooter. With this S3F Solutions barrel, which is a match grade barrel, and it's very nice. I will say I did have a couple of malfunctions in this when I first got the barrel and put it in it. I went from a Lone Wolf barrel to this one. I actually sold my Lone Wolf barrel not too long ago. I did polish this barrel. As you can see right there, you can see that feed ramp is polished. After I polished that, I've had zero issues with this gun. I probably put, I don't know, another 500 to 1,000 rounds to it after I did that with zero malfunctions. Now, was that the cause of the malfunction? I don't know, or did it just finally break in? Either way, after I did that, I've had zero issues. I fully trust this gun now. RMRs. I like RMRs. I ain't gonna say I don't. or just any optic on a firearm. I just happen to have an RMR because I'm a like Trigicon. I like the ACOG optic. I'll do an ACOG review coming up sometime. I started to do it today, but I decided to do this since I said in one of my other videos that I would actually do a review of this gun. The way this slide is cut, you actually get a true co-witness, as you can see the dot in the RMR. So you actually get a true co-witness with this. I do like that better than the Glock MOSs because I did have an MOS Glock 34, and the way the plate sets, you didn't get a true co-witness. So I do like the slides that are cut like this without the plates in them. It just, I don't know, it just makes it easier to sight the gun in, makes it easier if your dot goes out to see your iron sights. And usually when I shoot this gun, when I bring it up like this, I will still look for the sights, because when I find the sights, the dots will be there. That's also one reason that I don't use this gun much for self-defense, is because I am quicker acquiring my iron sights than I am acquiring this dot. For those of you that don't know, if you have a rifle with a dot on it, let's say like an aim point, that's what I run on most of my rifles, are aim points. I do have an ACOG. I don't know what he's just knocked over. I do have an ACOG, and but I do prefer aim point. When you come up with a rifle, you know, you have several points of contact, usually 4 points of contact. You have your hand on the grip, the stock on your shoulder, your cheek on the stock, and then your front grip on the hand guard. So, you know, by placing your cheek there, you're in line with that optic. The dot's there every time you look down it. Your handgun's not that way. You have 2 points of contact, and when you come up, this dot can vary. It's not always going to be exactly where you want it unless you train a lot with a dot, which I don't have time to train as much as I used to, so I'm not as proficient with the dot as I would like to be. Hence, I usually just carry iron sights on my Gen 5, and I'm happy with that because, you know, most time, if you're in a confrontation, it's going to be inside 7 yards. So I'm actually quicker with iron sights than I am a dot inside 7 yards. If you start getting out to 50 or 100 yards, which you should never be in that kind of situation for self-defense, this is just talking about, you know, just punching holes in paper. But if you're out that far, this right here is the way to go. It's a lot more accurate to have a dot on your gun than it is with iron sights if you're at distance. The slide, I actually wound up with a spare slide. I had a 22 conversion kit, and I don't mean like a Glock 22. I'm talking about like a 22 caliber conversion kit, so I can shoot 22 long rifles in this. And instead of keep taking the slides off my other Glocks, I actually just ordered a whole new frame from Gunbroker. And then whenever I got this slide, I took the 22 off of this one and built this gun. It wasn't stippled back then. I didn't have very many rounds to a 22. I did not really shoot the 22 very much. I actually still own it, but it just sits in the safe. So I did all the framework to it myself, and this was actually one of the first frames I ever stippled. It came out fairly well, but the more I ground on it, the more I made it fit my hand, the worse it looked. But functionality is the key, because this is a tool. It's, you know, I don't consider myself a gun collector. I consider myself a gun user, and I try to train with my firearms so that I can keep my family as safe as I possibly can at all times. So to me, these are tools. There is some wear on this. They did put a good finish on it, but might be able to make it out. I don't know if you can or not. It shows some wear, holster wear from pulling in and out of holsters and stuff. And I don't really care. My frame's got some wear on it where I stippled it, and that doesn't bother me either. The trigger, like I said, I think Agency's the best trigger. I just really, really like how their trigger feels. The reset is very quick, and you're right there at that wall, and it breaks like a candy cane, which is what you're looking for in a trigger most of the times. I do like the slide serrations up front. I do my press checks like this. I don't usually have my arm in a chicken wing. Usually I just do it like this, but for camera reasons, you know, I pull it back like this. Some people pull it underneath and do it. I just like to go over the top of the slide. And that really helps me out a lot with press checks. So I really like this. I'm actually thinking about sending my Gen 5 off and getting the slide cut up here in the front for serrations, because I will tell you, I really like the Gen 5, but the finish on that Gen 5 is very, very slick. So I'm thinking about sending it off and having front serrations put on it. The barrel, like I said before, is very accurate. It's one of the most accurate barrels I've ever had in a Glock, and I've had several barrels in Glocks. I do run a grip plug on this gun. It just seems to help me with reloads. Right in, when you hit the back of that plug, you're right in. If you take that plug out, there's a little groove here. I have seen people actually get hung up on that, but you know, this just, I mean, it just takes you right in. Now, here's a feature that, you know, I might get beat up for liking. A lot of people hate this feature on the Gen 5, and that's this cut right here. I actually had this front cut in my Glock Zev before the Gen 5 even came out. So I was used to that cut. I've had this gun probably 3 years now or so, 2.5, 3 years. And this is, you know, I did the frame right after I got the gun. So the frame's been done for 2.5 or 3 years also. So when the Gen 5 come out and had this, I heard a lot of people complaining that they didn't like that and they wished it was on the side. But for me, I felt those on the side. I feel them in the web of my hand right here. Not the web, but in the palm of my hand. I can actually feel that, and it's kind of a distraction. But where this is and the way my grip is, I don't feel that at all. And maybe it's just because I'm used to it, but I don't feel it, and I don't feel it in the Gen 5. So I'm happy that they put that up on the Gen 5. That just kept me from having to do it. Like I said before, I've had one or two malfunctions in this gun, but that was early on. I've not had any in the last 1,000 or so rounds. I would fully trust my life to this firearm. I think Zev makes a good slide. I think S3F makes a really good barrel. Trijicon is top notch on their optics, as everybody knows it likes firearms. The ACOG is one of the toughest probably optics made. And Glock is just one of the most reliable handguns made. I do really want to get an Agency Arms, a full Agency Arms build. I would like to either send them a Gen 4 or Gen 5, heck, or even a Gen 3, I don't care. But I would like to buy a full Agency Arms field build gun that does not have the cuts in it. I don't like the lightning cuts in my slide. I know people say, well, you say dirt can get in, but that's also a place where dirt can get out. But, you know, if I ain't got a big place for dirt to get in, it probably ain't gonna get in as bad as it would if it's just trying to get in these little holes on the slide. That's just my opinion. I don't know. But to me, I don't want the big holes in the big lightning cuts in the slide. I want it made more like this. But I really, really like the Agency Arms guns. I really like the Zevs. I'm not looking to get rid of my Zev. I'll probably never get rid of the Zev. Even if I get an Agency, I won't get rid of the Zev. The light on this gun, I do like it. Like I said before, it's very easy to use. You just push down on the toggle and it comes on momentary. You push up and it stays on constant. There is a strobe mode if you double flip this real fast and hold it, but I turned the strobe mode off because I don't see a need in using strobe. I don't want the strobe to accidentally come on when I want the light to come on. So me personally, I cut that feature off, and I think you actually hit this like 10 times in a row or something and hold it, and that cuts strobe off. I can't remember, but I cut the strobe off on all my Streamlights, and I'm glad. And thank you, Streamlight, for giving me that option. You know, you were smart enough to have the foresight to realize not everybody may want a strobe, and I appreciate you programming that into your light where I can cut it off, because I'm one of the people that didn't want it. This breaks down just like any other Glock. No big deal. You just kind of pull it back a little bit, drop it off like that. The barrel comes out. It's actually easier to take this gun apart. I don't know if you've seen what I just did right there or not, but I actually just grabbed the RMR, pulled it back by the RMR, and then took it off. The trigger came pretty well polished, as you can see right here and from the side. I did polish my drop safety right here so the trigger would slide across it a little easier. Just got a standard Glock guide rod. From my opinion, these have been perfectly fine, and they're cheap if they wear out. Just keep one or two on hand. And then you can see where I did polish the feed ramp. It goes back together just like a normal Glock, because it is normal Glock, other than, you know, the slide's been cut out and I have a different barrel. So that's my review of this firearm. I like it. I don't know if it's for everybody. It wasn't cheap. Is it worth the price you pay for something like this? I guess you have to make that decision up for yourself. I'm going to say yes, because obviously I purchased this gun, so obviously it was worth it to me. Would I do it again? I'm not knocking Zev because I really like this slide, but if I was going to sink this much money in a gun again, I might buy an agency, but that might just be me talking because I've owned a Zev and I've not owned an agency, so, you know, it might just me be wanting something new. But I'm not, like I said, I'm not looking to get rid of this, so if I get an agency, it'll just be an addition to this. It will be a Glock 19, though, if I do get an agency later on down the road. I own several Glock 19s, and I honestly, in my opinion, that's the perfect size gun to carry. I know the Smith & Wesson MP 2.0 Compact is the same identical size, and if you want to see a review of, you know, I have one comparison to 19 and the 2.0. I also have a video comparing the Glock 19, the 2.0, the CZP-10C, and the HK VP9. But in my opinion, I will probably always carry a Glock 19, and if they quit making it, I've got enough that I can still carry one. It doesn't make any difference. I do not think they'll ever quit making this gun. This is probably the most popular handgun they have. I would like to address the 19X, I think that's what they're calling it. The Army one. It looks like a nice gun, it really does, but in my opinion, they made that gun totally backwards for concealed carry. I mean, the people watching this video right now are probably watching it for concealed carry purposes. They're not watching it because, you know, they're looking for a duty gun. And if you are, then that's perfectly fine. I mean, I'm not knocking that, but in my opinion, I bet most of my viewers are concealed carry permit and just people that have a, you know, an infatuation with firearms in general. But you don't make the grip longer like a Glock 17 and then the overall length of 19, because this part is going to be in the holster, usually inside the waistband, and this part is going to be the part that is going to print if any of the firearm actually shows. So for concealed carry purposes, this should be as short as it can be, and this doesn't really matter. It can hang all the way down your leg as long as you can walk with it. I mean, it would be harder to draw it, of course, out of a holster, but you can conceal that, right? You can conceal a Glock 17 for this reason, but for this reason, it makes it more difficult than a 19. So to me personally, Glock made that gun backwards, but they made it for the military, and the military don't carry concealed, so, you know, more power to them. But, you know, my buddy got a Glock 19X. I swear I think that's what they're calling it. I can't remember if I'm pretty sure. And he told me he'd let me do a review of it if I wanted to. And I'll probably get that gun and do a review for you all. It should be in one day this week, I think is what he said. So I'll probably get that gun off him and do a review. But for me personally, I'm probably not going to buy a Glock 19X. Just for the simple fact that it doesn't have a real application in my system. But that's been my review of the Zev. I hope you liked it. If you did, please like, share, and subscribe. There'll be more videos coming out. I'm thinking about buying a TLR7. The only reason I've not bought one yet, I did find some in stock the other day. The only reason I haven't bought one is because they're having a hard time finding holsters. I'm sure the holsters will become really readily available in the next, you know, month or two. But for right now, if I can buy, you know, a TLR7, I'm going to want to carry it. I'm going to want to see how it carries and stuff like that. And my cousin actually did just get one in. He said I could do a review of his, but I'd rather just buy one of those because they're cheap enough that, you know, I can buy one and not break the bank. It's not like spending $600 on a Glock 19X. You know, it's a $100 light. So, you know, I'll probably wind up buying one. I may do it right after this video. But I just wish holsters were more readily available for it, and that's probably why I've not been super excited about getting one yet. But I'll get one, and when I do, I have several pistol lights and just weapon lights in general that I can do reviews on for you on that. Some of them's older, but they still work. Like this is the older model. The only difference between this model and the new one is the new one's 800 lumens. So all the controls and everything are the same, and the mounts are the same and stuff like that. So, they're all relevant as far as that's concerned. So if I do a light review, it's all essentially going to be the same thing. It just may have more lumens. But like I said, if you like this video, please like, share, and subscribe, and we'll see you next time. Have a good day.